want to talk about recycling and also the use of how we use our bins, especially during the COVID emergency in Victoria. And someone who knows more about the challenges that councils are facing at the moment is the Mayor of Port Phillip Council. Her name is Bernadene Voss. Bernadene, welcome to The Informer.
It's a pleasure to be here, George.
What's the big message that you're very keen to spread and encourage us to keep doing throughout this, not only throughout the COVID pandemic crisis, but beyond that?
Yeah, my big message is around the recycling. We really want people to recycle accurately, put the right thing in the bin. And I guess my key message is, if in doubt, throw it out. If you're not sure what should go in a recycling bin, then please put it in your main bin, because anything that's not supposed to be in your recycling bin causes contamination. Contamination then causes a lot of extra cost. So, for example, if you put broken glass in a contamination in a recycling bin, or you put in something
or plastic
like
bags,
food,
or plastic bags.
Plastic bags. And what we have is you've got to understand how it's sort of sorted. The bin goes into a truck then takes it to a facility that goes along a conveyor belt. There are people pulling things in and out, so there's an occupational health and risk issue. So if there's glass shards, they might cut themselves, for example, and they might miss something. And if they miss something, it then gets a lower quality of recycled goods, or then the whole truck has to go to landfill. So it's such a huge waste. So we need to take extra effort in terms of what goes in. So if you're not sure about it, I say put it in the normal bin. Okay,
so that's the big green bin normally. So if in doubt, that's the one to use. And the yellow bins or the other bins, be specific. Now, normally in our bin, especially the yellow one, it's clearly marked what you can and can't do. But it seems to me that people, I don't know whether they're careless, I don't know whether they don't read English, but do we offer an opportunity for all those members of the community that aren't, for example, fluent in English, to get an understanding of the requirements and the guidelines?
I absolutely think we can all do it better, and we have some statewide, national campaigns going on at the moment.
Okay. Do we have leaflets in other languages available as well through council?
Yes, we do, and we're putting a sticker program on a lot of the bins at the moment as well. But what we do have a lot of problems with is what we call MUDs, multi-unit developments, and they're the ones in the city of Port Phillip. We have over 50% of people living in high density. And what I think happens a lot is people go down to the basement where they put their bin, where the bins are, with their recycling, and it's in a plastic bag, and they put the whole recycling and the plastic bag in the bin, but they don't take out the recycling from the plastic bag and then put the plastic bag in another bin. So there needs to be different systems available to make it easier for people. For example, having a bin right there for your plastic bags, so to enable people to do recycling properly.
And there's another layer of complexity here too, in that we have people who are illegally dumping anyway. They're just looking at any bin that's available to them and they'll just dump it. That causes enormous
There is a lot
growth.
of that. There's a lot of that. And so we've also just started, and it's been proving very, very useful, an education campaign and an audit program. So a bit of reinforcement and enforcement. And what we're finding is that's actually delivering huge results. And our contamination rates, for example, in a trial that we're doing in Garden City just on glass, has reduced from 45% down to 2%. And what we were finding in these trials with the people looking in the bins, it looks okay on the top, but when you tip out the bin and see what's underneath it, there's garden waste and materials and all sorts of other stuff. So people are actually hiding things in their recycling bins, hoping that when the truck comes along, it'll just be emptied. So that's now no longer the case, and we are being very particular about what goes into our recycling.
You've even introduced a new bit of strategy, and I think it's part of this audit, that if indeed you have a bin that is contaminated, that isn't filled with the what you are supposed to fill it with, then you won't pick it up. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct. So we won't pick it up. We'll ask them to take out the contaminants, and then when we come back next week, we'll have a look again, and if they've done that, we'll pick it up.
So the moral of the story is do it right the first time. You save yourself money, you save yourself embarrassment, and you also save yourself the cost and the waste. There's another layer to this contamination, and it is, you said earlier, time is money. It must be costing you, and the ratepayers, of course, each and every one of us in Port Phillip Council, a whole lot more money than we'd rather spend on something else, surely.
So correct, George, and this all comes down to how much money that our ratepayers pay. And, you know, with COVID and the issues that are happening around that, and our recycling contamination rates, where it's costing us around $1.7 million extra, you know, to deal with what's happening at the moment. So we've got more rubbish going into our general bins in the parks. We've got our resource recovery centre with people lined up because they're cleaning out their house at the moment, and we've got contamination rates going out of the roof. So yeah, there's a lot of issues that are costing a lot of money. So that's why we're asking people to do it right the first time, and you know that should be reflected, you know, in your rates as well. We'd be able to spend that money on better things or give savings back.
I want to congratulate you before we wrap this up with the crews that you have that continually roam the council and doing the clean-up as best they can. Yes, I understand they could be doing it better, but it's terrific to see them, and most of the kids do a tremendous job. And I can't believe the kilometres they're either walking or using bikes and other things to get around. Quad bikes, I think, are now being used. So continued success with that. It is a morale booster, but let's do the right thing. Oh, and one last thing, the development of that secondary school at Fisherman's Bend is looking better each and every day. So bring it on. It looks like another fantastic bit of infrastructure that will add to Port Phillip.
Absolutely. Well, the development in Fisherman's Bend is going ahead. It's happening everywhere, even though it's not as fast as we first thought it would be. But the Fisherman's Bend school, the secondary school at Murphy's Reserve, is coming out of the ground, and I can't wait, you know, for students to be in it in about 18 months' time.
Listen, we want you back because we've got so much more we want to discuss with you about council matters. Hope you can join us for that. But it's been Bernadene Voss on The Informer giving us the lowdown and reminding us all that let's make sure we don't contaminate, and if you're in doubt about where to put your rubbish, make sure it's in the big green bin. Thank you, Bernadene.
Thanks, George.